fellow Ambazonians, fellow Southern Cameroonians. This is Capo Daniel, your civil liberty activist, coming today to you with this live show, the No Conny Talk Zone. Today we are having as guest the chair lady of the AGC, Amabo Cecilia, who is going to be joining me today live to have a very in-depth conversation about topics, general topics that for this our struggle. So we have a lot of things we are going to cover, including education, including the diplomacy, targeted diplomacy of the AGC, the posture of the AGC vis-a-vis the other groups and its future, and many other stuff that we are going to be discussing tonight with her. So please, you are all highly welcome to this platform. We had I want to apologize for the short delay. We had to delay a little bit because we realized that Comrade Tapang Ivor was live as well, so we wanted to give him time to finish, but we could not wait or beyond 30 minutes, so that's why we had to wait for this amount of time. So once more, ladies and gentlemen, you are all highly welcome to this platform, an advocacy platform where we advocate for specific things on this struggle. It's a very tough thing to do in this environment, given that our country has been in dictatorship for over 56 years and under colonialization. So we haven't really tested this type of engaging presentation, be it on TV or be it on radio, where you challenge people in debates and you raise up issue, you do investigative journalism and all this stuff. So for a lot of people this is new, but it's a tough thing and it's something we have to do, and we are becoming increasingly under attack and under serious pressure from groups of the struggle as well, which is something that we expect. So today I'm going to start with as usually with our national anthem, and I'm gonna play a song to welcome everybody. And I want to cut Cafe to CIC. I can see he's live as well watching. So I'm going to play the national anthem and play one song as usual to welcome everybody, and then I'll give an opening statement. Then I'm going to invite the spokesperson lady and Iron Lady Cecilia Amabo, who is going to join me live as well. We are going to have a very, very good conversation. So please, you can use this opportunity to invite other people so we can have a more interactive presentation. As well as giving you this presentation, I'm also going to talk about in my opening statement about some issues that have come up due to some propaganda video that was made against me, and give some small clarity just to clear the air as we move forward. So ladies and gentlemen, you're all highly welcome, and join me to pay allegiance to our flag, our national anthem, and to the heroes back who are defending homeland. So join me as we sing the national anthem, and I haven't chosen a song yet, so I'm going to do that afterward. And let's go. Hail this land of glory, we the Ambazonians pledge our loyalties. Praises to our Savior who granted us a freedom. Allegiance to the hero who bore this land with their blood. From glory to glory we rise to never to fall. Here in a nation flowing with milk and honey. Glory, glory, glory to the Father for making you a nation, a joy forevermore. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. Ambazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in plenty, meeting our need. And your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High God being the watchman of this nation. So there we go with our national anthem. the Most High God being the watchman of this nation. So I'm going to choose a song right now. I'm going to choose a song from Boyo. And let me take a song from Afo Akom. Afo Akom. Okay. Afocom. Do you guys know what Afocom means? Afocom means coming from com. So please, I cannot see it. So I'm going to choose something that is in my. I'm using my kids' PlayStation to do this. So bear with me. Okay. Let me see. I'll still play Luluwe, I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're all highly welcome. And I want to take this moment to welcome everybody. If wherever you are, just drop your location and the name of any person you want me to give a shout out to. And from Derek, you are highly welcome. I'm going to confession. Yes, I'm going to do some little bit of confession as well. And you're all welcome. Grace Ajeli, I salute you. Don Ako, you are welcome. And D4, you are highly welcome. I want to greet all of our patriots in Ground Zero, all of them in Mutengene, in Moliko, in Mamfe, in Boyo, Mezam, Akum, Santa Pinying, Atrueyu salute. In Meselele, in Tiko, Atrueyu salute. In Victoria, the harbor city of Victoria, I throw you salute. You're all highly welcome tonight. So you can share the link for a more interactive presentation. We have a great guest today. Our guest is no other person but the Iron Lady of the AGC, Cecilia Amabo. So please, we have a lot to discuss with her. Who is that? If anybody who I'll be, you know me, this is not a space for everybody. So if you are here, be very respectful and keep it civil. You are all highly welcome, and you are welcome to give questions and stuff like that. But please do not distract. Stay focused, and I know our struggle have become a marketplace. But we have to keep focused, we have to stay civil and be true to who we are. Victorine Ndoku, you are welcome. The ones. I never see some poet and childish past Ambazonia. Sometimes I love to say, Paul fella, welcome. You say wait, Paul. So welcome. It's a weekend. We are having a lot of. We are going through a lot of hard times. As a matter of fact, looking the videos and the pictures of dead bodies being discovered in the bushes, completely decayed, dead bodies in streets in Ambazonia for days, being left to intimidate people. It's terrible. It's terrible. And the gravity of what we are doing and the gravity of our struggle is huge. It's not a joking matter, it's not a laughing matter. But we have to find solace and to draw energy to fight on, because we have no choice but to fight on. In the face of all this, what can we do but to hold grass and move on? You know, we have to fight. We have to fight. Felipola Mangege, Atroy salute. Look how these people they sing in Southern Sudan. They sing about their leaders and they praise them, and it's a wonderful thing. God bless. You are highly welcome. You are all highly welcome. And let me see how many seconds. I'll have to round up fast. With all the delay, we have to make sure we get our program running so that we don't get too deep into the night. It's 1 a.m. already in Hong Kong, as well as in Beijing. So you're all highly welcome from China. Those in Amik, China, you are all highly welcome. Lord Pelus, you are welcome. Yeah, I'll send that for you later. Good leader, a leader, good leader, good leader, a leader, good leader. Yes, General Tapang Ivo Tanku is on as well, but we could not wait for so long. We have to go ahead. We are aware that most people will have to view our show later on, so you are all highly welcome. Beneta bina be abisuata beta bina se alibigoa. You are welcome, and I think I will not take too long. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you are all highly welcome once again to this No Connie Talk zone, in which we try to speak the truth, to hold truth to power, as well as to advocate for specific things within our struggle. So welcome, His Excellency. I throw a salute. So we try to speak the truth, and the truth always, that is our pledge in this platform. And to no spin zone, and that means we try not to make corny with things. We try to put things as clear as they are. And we are in this juncture, in this struggle, in the aftermath of the election in La République du Cameroon. We are seeing exactly the program being rolled out for the end game that La République du Cameroon see in our struggle. But we also have a say. We, the people of Ambazonia, we have a say. And every Ambazonia have to realize that you have a power. Your opinion counts. Nobody should ever tell you that you are less an Ambazonian for speaking out your opinion or for having a say in our struggle and in our destiny. You have a say. Your opinion counts. Your group or whatever you decide to be, to affiliate yourself, it counts. And nobody should be able to take that from you. Nobody should be able to take that from you. And I want to first start by addressing a propaganda video that came out. We were actually expecting a video or some attack to come out. You remember our last show, we had a show with Comrade, the Comrade Congo Success. We have a show with Comrade Congo Success, and I was telling him, be expecting to have attack. They are going to come after you. They are going to attack your character, your integrity. They are going to come after who you are. They are going to dig deep. And sure they did do that, exactly that. But this time it came from nowhere, and the attack came from me. And if you have been paying attention on WhatsApp platform in particular, and some few, I think not really, I don't really call them activists, some few unknown Facebook users who have been posting things about our struggle have picked on it. A video that was released by a Southern Cameroonian, the Secretary General of Singa in Nigeria, Cho Ernest. And this is a guy I met during the first conclave. During the fourth conclave, he's the one who came to my hotel, and he's the one who brought me to the house of Pafo Ngarafo, and then we met there. We went to the fourth conclave. I have been in contact with this guy for a very long time. This guy has been to me like a family member in Nigeria. He's in contact with my families, and he have private conversation with me about my personal life. I deal with him like a brother, and he is a refugee in Nigeria and somebody who have been in detention as well. So I feel and I relate with him on that basis in a very deep way. I used to, when he have problems, sometimes he calls me, I try to help him. And I basically will share with him, as I can share with him even my underwear. So I can say that in his wardrobe, you will find a lot of things there that are coming from me. So when I least expected if I will be attacked by anybody, it will be somebody like Ernest Cho. If you remember my last videos, I went to Nigeria, I met him, I interviewed him about the refugee situation. He helped to make me to meet certain people in Nigeria. And he has been my informant. Informant just simply means somebody who is informing you about something. So that is somebody you get information. So he had been my informant in the Nalova's case, because he was the one taking care of the children of Nalova. So when I wanted to interview, to investigate about the Naira 12, he was the best person to give me information, because he was not only a bystander, he was actually the person who went and took Atta Milan from the hotel, drive him around and go with him in places. And he was one of those people who were involved in the framing of Success in Congo. And he was a principal person who came up with the story that Success has bought a house in Nigeria and many other things that they used to frame him, which I discovered when I went to Nigeria. So it's unfortunate that he came out to do a propaganda hit job against me. He exposed my private documents, my private particulars, which I gave to him, and my private documents of my wife. It is horrible. It is disgusting. It is mean. It is a shame. He should be embarrassed of himself. And he has not only put to jeopardy my wife's life, but he has also put to jeopardy potentially the job of her parents, and also my wedding, which we were planning to do. As a matter of fact, I was planning to make the trip tomorrow, so I have cancelled everything. We have cancelled everything because of that video. And I want to explain to you guys exactly what that video is all about. That video is a result of my investigation into Nalova B. That video was ordered for him to be made by Nalova B. I learned from somebody in Nigeria who contacted him and asked him, why would you do such a thing? And the reason he gave to that person was that I did not give him money. He was expecting when I leave from Nigeria, I come back, I will give him money or stuff like that. And it is to stay in Nigeria is a very expensive place. Abuja is very expensive. One day in a hotel in Nigeria, which I stayed in a hotel, it's a very cheap hotel, it's about $50 per night. I stayed in Nigeria for over a month. Actually, if you watch my video, there is one video I interviewed Success Congo, and that video I looked very pale because I was sick. I had malaria and typhoid when I went to Nigeria, so I was sick, and I was very frail. I didn't feel very well at all, and I had a lot of challenges because I was also planning to go and do my wedding. I could do it in France. It was easy. It's visa-free for me to go to France. I could do it there. But I choose to do it in Nigeria because I intended to investigate the issues concerning the release of the Milan's tape. So when Milan released that tape, I saw the need for me to go again to Nigeria and talk to Ernest in particular, because he is the one who communicates directly with Nalova B and gives me information about that. So I needed to talk to him, and I also needed to talk to certain people who are there to get certain confirmation. So that is why I choose to go to Nigeria to do my investigation as well as to get married. And that is true, I went there to get married as well, but that does not mean that I didn't go there to do my investigation. And the first time I went to Nigeria, it was a very serious issue. And you know, it was a time where they had arrested the people in Calabar, and it was let me block this guy. It was when they had just arrested people in Calabar State. It was very dangerous. I was very, very scared. I made a video and I gave it to somebody. One of I chose 3 people that I informed them about that journey. And I told them the reason why I was going there, which was for investigation. That was the reason I was going there, to investigation. Of course, I told him that I was coming there to come and see a girl, which I was planning to marry. But I canceled that arrangement long before I left. So I went for that first trip in Nigeria purely for investigation. It was purely to do that investigation. It was nothing to do about going to get married. But the second time I was going there, I was also going to get married. But the first time it was entirely for the investigation. And that is the truth. There are people who are not going to believe anything you say, and that is just up to them. I'm not trying to convince them. There is no need for me to do that. I don't feel when you're telling the truth, you are telling the truth. You don't have to. I don't try to convince people. I just can tell my story. So I went there the first time for investigation, and Ernest Cho was actually one of the subject of my investigation, because he was involved in framing up Success. So he was being investigated. I could not tell him exactly what I was doing or tell him exactly what I'm not doing. And I have shared part of the the chat I had with him. Let me block this guy. I'll be taking some time to block some people. So I'll be sharing. I shared a little bit the screenshot I had with him. The video he said was just completely lie. He lied that I said I'm going to force Nalova B to speak out, even if it means lying to get her to do so. I never said anything like that. The screenshot he tried to show, he never showed the screenshot in particular. He never showed any message there, and I challenged him to come out and show that screenshot for everybody to see, because there is nothing I've never said to anybody that I'm going to lie. I don't lie. I'm always proud to say that I don't lie. Yes, sometimes I'm a human being. I can make mistake as well. Sometimes I may fall short, but I will not deliberately come and lie people. I don't do that. There is no need to do that, particularly in a public issue. Why should I lie to somebody? So that is what happened. And the thing people have to know is that when you commit a crime, you try to hide, you try to lie. And Nalova B is trying to know exactly what I have found about the investigation. Because when you are doing investigation, you look at the physical evidence you have. There are certain things you cannot disclose to the public. You have to keep them. Those things are the things you expect to use to confirm who is guilty or not. So I think they were also trying to know what I have discovered or what I have not discovered. But it's important for me to get her statement first. Then from her statement, I can collaborate it with the evidence we have before I can confirm absolutely. But for sure, I know that Nalova B was the mastermind of the Naira 12 adoption. And she had made, it's honorable to accept mistake. What type of mistake are you talking about, Mr. Sikot? So what I will say is that Nalova B, she herself has made a lot of, she has lied a lot, because the first time I went there to interview, in my first interview, she said that the reason the hotel, the meeting in the Naira Hotel was called, it was for an end of year party. And now she had an interview with David Makongo, in which he told them that the meeting was being held because of reconciliation between Paata Sang and Atta Milan. So that is just lie, and it is not consistent, because in the same tape he mentioned to me as well that before Milan could come there, the meeting was already over. They had finished the meeting went on successfully. So what type of reconciliation do you have for a meeting, and then the subject of that meeting is not there? So she's not consistent. As well as the issue concerning anyway, I will not get in that. That is not the subject of today, but I just want to put it out there for people who wants to know that yes, the second time I went to Nigeria, I was going there with an intention to get married as well. But why I choose to go to Nigeria, it was as well because I plan to conclude my investigation, and there is no contradiction in that. If you have, for example, I give the example of Ayuk Tabi. When he was traveling to America, he was going there for fundraising, but he also was going there to visit his family as well. So there is no contradiction in that. For people who are not intellectually mature to understand, they will not understand. For those who choose not to understand or want to use it as a provocation or as a distraction to try to distract me or something like that, they are always going to do that. So they are welcome to keep on doing that. But it doesn't matter. The truth doesn't lie. What I want to say is Nalova B has to answer questions. Take it from me, take it from anybody. She has to answer questions and tell the truth. She has lied consistently. When I met the guy, NS Cho, in front of Success Congo, she asked those questions. I provide them the questions. When she saw that I was serious and the questions were serious and they could directly implicate her, she said that she will not answer that question. I should ask the question to the lawyer. The lawyer is going to answer the questions. When I went to the lawyer, I presented the questions to the lawyer. The lawyer was very embarrassed. He said, why would she expect me to answer these questions? There is no way I would know these things. Only her will know this thing. As a matter of fact, the lawyer was very surprised that the government was helping her to move to Europe, and the interim government came from behind, which was very bizarre. which was very bizarre. That is why they are attacking me, because I am onto something. The interim government, who was paying the lawyer of the family of the Naira 12, that means the interim government was paying through the families. The interim government had full access of this lawyer. They trust these lawyers. But somehow, they will hide and smuggle Nalova B out of Nigeria without involving these lawyers, when there was already a plan to take her out legally. So how suspicious is that? You have to look at things that does not look normal, and then you try to decipher it. They can try to repackage her and try to, if you have, the suspicion is that they are working for the same boss. When you have two spies here, or have cops working, you have a department for anti-drug and the one for anti-gang. They are working, and the boss, the state prosecutor will know them, their action on the field. And if he see the way he can collaborate with them, he will bring them together. So there are a lot of things going on here. Do not be naive. Do not be naive. I may not be 100% have proofs of everything, but I have substantial evidence. And I want you to judge for yourself. Don't just take what I say. Judge for yourself. The screenshots presented by Milan have two copies. One with Milan, one with Nalova B. I have had somebody in South Africa to confirm to me that those screenshots are authentic. All we need is for Nalova B to tell us, are those screenshots authentic or not? It has implication. It has serious implication. When she do that, then we will just conclude with the investigation. We will conclude absolutely who was guilty, who was involved in what. The only problem is, was she doing so out of money? Were they paying her, or were they blackmailing her to do that? Because she was in the center of our struggle. So that is my yes, Emmanuel. My real name, what you call real names, is actually my given names, and Gong Emmanuel Dong. Those are my names. It's not a secret. I am not hiding who I am. I've been using the name. I was previously called Captain Daniel, but I know I have to explain this basic thing, because for some Ambazonians, when they hear things like that, for them it's like, oh, you're already doing something bad. That is my name, but I choose to use Capo Daniel. Actually, as a matter of fact, my names, Daniel is my name. It's my adopted name. When I was converted into Judaism, the name I adopted was Daniel. So that is the name I go by. Everybody calls me like that. In my ID card in Hong Kong, my name there is also Daniel. I also have a name which is different from my birth name from Cameroon, which I will not disclose it to the public as well, for my security purposes. So that is my name. I also have a Chinese name, if you want to know. I'm a Chinese citizen. So that said, I will go straight into our program. Let's forget about this issue. I think people who want to believe what they want to believe, they will believe it. But always have the mindset to understand yourself, to understand what is going on. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to go straight to my presentation. I will start by giving a little bit advice, and for a lot of people who have been curious and asking why I do the things I do in this struggle, why talk about the interim government, are you the part of it, or why should you, if you're not a part of it, you shouldn't be able to talk about it, and why should you question the interim government and talk to the president in the language you are using? Is it rude? Is it not rude? I know we come from a background of chieftaincy and fiefdoms, and our culture dictates that a child has nothing to say or to teach the father, because we grew up in an environment, our parents grew up in an environment of subsistence farming and hunting. That was the primary source of income, and up to today, farming still remains the provider of the bread in Ambazonia. And most of our people, they still eat from the farm. I think about 70% are still relying on agriculture for food. And that also affects our cultural evolution. And when you grow up in an environment where what they do is hunting and farming, then a child really have nothing to teach the parents. That's why we come from that culture where if you're a child, you are expected to stay quiet. You don't have to talk in the house, because there is nothing. Are you going to teach your father how to hunt? Are you going to teach your mother how to farm? So that is our culture, but we have evolved into a modern society. Our traditions have evolved. Now our children, they are learning with iPad, they are using iPhones in house, and we think differently. And now my children teach me. I learn from my children. Now you cannot still question bear. When you go to the palace, you don't question the phone. That is our tradition, that is our culture, and we project that in our leaders. So people like the AIP or the CIC, the president of Ambazonia, Republic of Ambazonia, the president of the interim government, the executive president of the AGC, we treat them all with respect. And we project our tradition into them, that you have to respect them, you have to bow down, you have to clap for them as a sign of respect and humility. But we have evolved. We should also understand that you must question your father, you must correct your father. I was talking to my colleague today at work, and he was asking me why I don't always correct him. I tell him maybe it's come from my culture, because to correct an adult is considered as being rude in Africa or in our culture. You don't just correct an adult. You have to be very careful the way you correct an adult. But now in the modern society, we, the young people, we can teach our adults. We can correct them. And we should not be shy about it or to hold back on it due to our tradition, our custom, because our tradition itself has evolved. The basis of our tradition, which were our economic demography, which included just hunting and farming, have evolved. We now have working class people. We now have people who speak only in good English, who are not speaking even their traditional languages anymore. So it is okay to question the leadership we have. It is also okay to challenge them and to teach them and to see that they are human beings. The barrier we used to have before, we don't have it anymore. So people will feel offended when I accuse the interim government or the president of the interim government that he lied. Please, you don't have to feel offended. Even if you feel offended, understand that that is the world we live in. In America, they insult their president. In Hong Kong, we shoot X to our president here. And it is considered as politically okay. So please understand, when we hold our leaders to account, we charge them, we rough handle them and put them pressure. It is okay so long as we do it respectfully and within the context of a public affair. So thank you for listening on that note. I will move to the next topic, which is education. You know, if you have listened to the voice messages I've released for over a month now, I've been campaigning about education. I want you to understand that there is a difference between education and school. In the mind of a lay person, when you hear about school, education, you are thinking about school. And we have school boycott, which is it is a center part of our struggle. And it also proves our resistance and rejection of the system of La République du Cameroon. But I want to let you people understand that education is different from schooling. Schooling is education, but it is not one and the same thing. Education and school are two different things. Just because we are boycotting school does not mean that we should stop educating our children. In particularly children who are between 5 to 3 years old and up to 18 years old are a very vulnerable class of people. They need education. I remember I watched the video of Nelson Mandela. I was trying to download it and share it during the time of apartheid. They also boycotted school. And Nelson Mandela broke the silence, and he spoke of the need to educate their children. They actually had to form an alternative educational system to educate their kids. There are a lot of things we can do. But one thing we can do in this war period is to educate our children. Children who have to learn how to say ABC, 1, 2, 3. Those are very crucial part of their life. And we can do so by informing and setting the trend. Remember, this struggle is all from social media. What we say and do on social media, our population take their cue from that. So we have to educate our people back home to understand that children need to be educated even in refugee camps. We have a culture of holiday school, holiday classes. You don't need to go to classes to educate our children. We need to send directive. Our educators, we need to talk to professionals. Where is Dr. Liz? Where are all those professionals to advise our leaders on a policy, a comprehensive policy for our people back home? We know there is also a problem of accreditation. They can come up with with solutions. You can say, okay, let the the students who are there or the teacher who are there organize classes in their houses and give those children report cards that can later on be even approved in an independent Ambazonia. So there are many ways we can do to have an alternative educational system. I used to admire the AGC very much because I saw videos of some areas that they controlled. They have school going on and the kids were going on. But I was very disappointed when they signed a joint statement with the other leaders saying that they affirm the school boycott. It continues without addressing the issue of education. So today we are going to have a discussion about this topic as well with chair lady, with a spokeslady, Amabo Cecilia, among many other things. So ladies and gentlemen, please, you are all highly welcome. Your questions are all highly welcome. We are also going to talk about collaboration, talk about unity and things going forward. So I'll try to invite my guests tonight to join me. Let me see. Madam Cecilia, can you try to click for request? I cannot see your video is not available. We are going to have some serious conversation with her on certain issues of the struggle. Yes, I have a Chinese name. My Chinese name, you want me to say my Chinese name? My Chinese name, I wouldn't say my Chinese name. I wouldn't give it to La Republic agents. So let's welcome the chair lady of ACK. I think she is... okay, yes, I can add her now. Heated issue as well with her. We're going to bring up some heated issue with her. And please brace up, and this is going to be interesting. Trust me, it's going to be interesting. I'm adding her already. And I think, Madam, maybe you make sure your camera is tilted this way. Your phone is tilted this way so that you can join, and make sure your phone is connected to a charger. So we are adding chair lady Amabo Cecilia. She's joining us, and we have a lot to present with her. We have a lot of questions to ask her, a lot of clarification, and we are very happy she take her time this Saturday evening to join us. Madam, I think you need to click accept. You need to click accept. So amongst the many other things we are going to discuss with her, we are going to discuss. Oh, she didn't answer. Let me do it again. I've sent you the request again. Okay. Your screen clearly shows that your video is available. Okay. You are being added. It's gonna take a little bit time. So for the meantime, I want to talk about why she's been added, the result of the presidential election in La République du Cameroon, which we expect Paul Biya to win absolutely. The impact of the result, we are already starting to feel the impact of that result, because we had already said that there will be a rule out of programs to launch the Simon Monceau's. Oh, the chair lady is now, the spokeslady is now being connected.
I don't know. Am I okay, Capo?
Yeah, you might want
to
rotate your camera. Perfect.
Oh. Okay. Just wait. Just give me a minute. Give me a second. I just want to adjust that.
Okay. So while we wait for the chair lady, I was okay.
Great.
Welcome, ma'am. You are highly welcome.
Thank you so much, Capo.
To the
Thank
No
you.
Connie Talk zone, where we are going to hold you to account and ask you tough questions and expect to get the most out of you. I'm very happy you accepted.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
invitation.
me. Thank you.
And even with the delay, you are highly welcome, ma'am. So we want to start. You know, we are starting from a back hill because I've just been hit with a swarm of propaganda against me and my platform, but no shaking, as we say. So I want to start by asking you, how do you feel and how do you handle such things? I remember just a couple of days ago, you were labeled, and all the ladies who are in the act, they were labeled as prostitute, people who exchange their body for money. And when you hear things like that in this struggle, it's like they say in the quarter, the one who make the team be nyaa, so the normal people them no go fish show their face for participate, which is what I think. They want to make it so bad and look so horrible that we cannot be able to do the things we are doing for our country. What do you have to say about what the activists said about you and all the ladies who I know some of them personally are very virtuous women, to use that type of a label, a prostitute, on you guys?
First of all, Capo, any man who goes on air and call women, a man who is a married man, a man who was brought forth in this world by a fellow woman, if somebody like that goes on air and calls another woman a prostitute, I can only qualify that person as a coward, because only cowards would do things like that. You cannot call virtuous women, women who have given their lives to fight for this struggle, and you classify them and you call them prostitute, then only a stupid man and a coward will condescend that low to talk about women in that manner. The women of Ambazonia who have been involved in this struggle, we can all attest to the great things they are doing. We saw what the Takumban relief women did. They went almost half naked on the streets of New York, making sure that the plight of the Ambazonian people are heard. Is he telling me that all these women who gave up everything to stand before the United Nations and cry for Mother Ambazonia, they are all prostitutes? Is he saying that women who have defied a lot, some have even up their marriages just because they want to fight in this struggle, because they know that their children are dying down there in the bushes? They see fellow women in the bushes, they have nothing to put on, they are suffering. We saw how women were suffering in the bushes. They don't even have sanitary pads. Women are the same people who came up with initiatives to provide for these dying women in the bushes, and the man comes out and call women prostitute. Is that the kind of country we want to build? Is that the kind of people, are those the kind of people we want to have in our community? That is so stupid of any man to come on air and call women who are giving their lives to fight for the freedom of Ambazonia prostitute. It is uncalled for, and it's so cowardice for any man to do that. He has classified all Ambazonian women prostitute, and I, as a woman, I refuse to accept that, because what we are doing as women, he who is calling us prostitute can never even do half of it. Women are dying. Women are down there in the bushes, they're suffering. Other women are here advocating. Marjorie is a woman. She went to the United Nations Human Rights Council and she spoke about the Ambazonian woman. She presented the plight of the Ambazonian woman. She presented the plight of the Ambazonian people as a whole. Is he telling me that that woman who sacrificed her time, left her job, left her kids at home, and traveled all the way to Geneva to speak for the women of Ambazonia is a prostitute? Is that the message he's passing out there to the world? Is he telling me that the Takumban relief women who went almost half naked before the entire war just to make sure that the war understands that there is a crisis, there is a genocide going on in Ambazonia, that women are suffering, they are being humiliated, they are being dehumanized, all those things. They are raped in their homes and they are even made widows and all this. Is he telling me that these women who went beyond all
Ma'am,
odds,
it looks
who
like we are
sacrificed their time and all
you're,
this?
it looks
Are
like
we
your
good?
network is breaking, and it's having some glitches the way your volume come across. I don't know if you can hear me properly. Yeah, now it's better, but your network was
I can hear
broken,
you clearly.
but we barely hear what you are saying. I could understand. Saying
I don't
connection
know
available.
where you, yeah, my connection is quite well.
Okay. For my Wi-Fi, I use the
Are we
data.
okay now?
Okay. Poor connection available. Yeah, I think we are good now.
From
We are
my
good
end,
now.
my
Go
connection
ahead,
is
ma'am.
good. Yes, I was just reiterating the fact that a man who comes on air, a man who has a wife at home, comes on air and even have children and probably female children to call other women prostitute is nothing but a coward. And that is somebody nobody should look up to or respect or give any respect to. Because women of this revolution, he didn't just call the few by calling Momsi, calling Abu Free, calling my name. Momsi represents the Southern Cameroon's women. He is he, in other words, saying that all the women that make up that organization or that group are all prostitutes. The same women who are the one who catered for, who are still catering for our refugees, providing for the displaced persons, the IDPs in the communities, the same women who are contributing money and sending to the prisons, the same women who are taking care of our injured soldiers, the same women who are rising and presenting the plight of Ambazonian before the United Nations, before the war at large, are all prostitutes. Is he telling the world that Ambazonian women are all prostitutes, that his mother is a prostitute and his wife is a prostitute? We take an exception to that, and we will not be intimidated or called names by any man thinking that social media bullying is going to stop us from doing what we are doing. We are not going to stop because we will continue to fight until freedom comes. If he thinks calling us prostitute will relegate us to the back, then he should get another mission because this one isn't working. Thank you.
It's really unfortunate, and he's a married man. I know he have daughters as well, and he have a mother. I think, and I don't know. I'm just guessing that he was reacting. He said that we gang up to call him that he's a Nigerian. I've always assumed that he was a Nigerian from one. I think it's from one guy online called Recognize, which is, I never took it like something negative, but I think he has clarified that he's not a Nigerian. And for me, it doesn't matter who you are. We have Nigerians in Bakassi who are Southern Cameroonians as well.
Capo, that is not a prerequisite for any man to go on air and call women in this struggle. They are women who are fighting for the liberation of the homeland. You cannot come on air and you call women prostitute and you think that makes you popular. That is, to me, the height of stupidity and cowardice. So that is all what I can say.
Are you surprised with the lack of responsiveness by our leaders for coming out and putting out statements to reject it? Because people seems not to understand the implication of allowing a mega activist or somebody with a lot of people who listen to coming out to call women as such. I don't know. Are you surprised that our leaders didn't come out to make statement, and somebody that he is clearly doing surrogacy for, Sako, did not come out to condemn that statement, or Chris Anu, who are all pastors? Are you surprised with the irresponsiveness and people just looking at it as normal?
As a matter of fact, I am not. I am not surprised at all, because We know some of these activists are actually paid by some of our leaders to come out and rant the way they are ranting, to distract the struggle, to demoralize people whom they know very well they cannot stand against. So they know that these people are actually a force to reckon with. So by sending the mouthpiece to go out there and rant and insult women, they, in other words, think that they are intimidating these people to relegate to the back so that they can actually fulfill their missions in this struggle. But it's really not working. So I'm not even surprised that some leaders have not come out to condemn this. But we, the women, we are going to talk for ourselves. We will not, that slogan that says every successful man, that beside every successful man is a woman, behind. No, 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 no. It's no longer behind, it is beside and step by step. So we will defend ourselves. The thing, we are vulnerable, we are the weaker sex. We are not the weaker sex. We are not the weaker sex. It's just a word that is being used across the world, but it doesn't really reflect an Ambazonian woman. An Ambazonian woman is a strong woman. It's a woman stand and defend herself wherever and whenever. And I am standing here on behalf of women, on behalf of myself, and on behalf of all the Ambazonian women to tell Eric Tato that he is a coward. He is a coward, and he cannot intimidate me, Momsi V, Abu Free, or any other Ambazonian woman by calling us names. When men feel challenged by women, they resort in calling names. They resort in threatening their lives, thinking that by so doing, they are going to be victorious, or they are showing their strength. They flex their muscles by doing so. But that is not working.
Glitches with the connection, or I feel like the connection is breaking. I don't know if the viewers are also experiencing the same glitches. Can you hear me properly?
From my end, I can't experience anything. I can hear you clearly. Yeah. Maybe you can follow the comments for people to let us know if they can hear us clearly or not.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me properly? I can hear you very well, Kapo. Grace, there is no refresh. You can't refresh anything during a live show. Okay, I hear you, but it cuts in the middle. I really wish I could hear you flow. I hope the viewers can hear you better than I, because I can manage. You can see and hear you both well. Oh, that means
okay,
maybe it's from my side.
Can you? Okay, great. So okay. I was saying.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Can I go on? Yeah, thank you.
Please do.
I was saying, Kapo, that I will talk on behalf of myself and other Ambazonian women, that we will not be intimidated by anybody. If they like, they bring other women to try to fight against us, because it's always that we have that tendency of men instigating women to rise and fight against women. And now they're using women in men's form to fight against women, but we are just telling them that we cannot be intimidated. We will continue to fight until we get to Boya. No man born of a woman, it's amazing how it goes, can intimidate us.
So, ma'am, just to conclude on this issue, what will you say to all the hundreds, if not thousands of people who listens to him every day? They cheer him up because they identify themselves with one side of the debate, and they will cheer him up, and they will tell they are encouraging him without maybe knowing the moral implication of doing so. And what would you say to all those people so that they can take a look on themselves and see if they are encouraging him in one way or the other, or being a partnership in that immoral, degrading, and what I strongly condemn, an abuse on Ambazonian women of value?
Capo, that is the only thing that really surprises me. The fact that this same person pull a crowd of people, and when somebody like that begins to pull a crowd of people, and then you begin to imagine the kind of people that this crowd is made up of. Because if you are a decent and a dignified man or a woman, and you go on air and you hear a fellow comrade calls another names, and you clap to it, you cheer to it, and you celebrate it, then there is something wrong somewhere up there. It is not normal, because you cannot go and endorse evil. Because to me, I look at it as evil. It is completely evil, and it is preposterous to know that even women follow him and call other women prostitute as well. So to me, I feel really surprised to know that people follow people like this, and they even cheer him up. It's a pity. It's a pity for me, and I really wish that all these people who are following him could really sit back, think for a second, and ask themselves, what is this guy offering us? When we finish watching his show, how does it impact our lives? How does it impact, or how does it move the struggle forward? All what he says on air, he spends his time calling people names, insulting people, if he is not insulting this person today, he's insulting this one, or he combines the both and do it at once. But the question is, at the end of the show, is it some kind of comedy? Is he now a comedian who entertains people to make people laugh, or he's actually an activist? Because an activist is supposed to encourage the people, to strengthen the people, to educate the people on the things, the happenings of the struggle. Is that what he's doing? I wish our people could sit back for 5 seconds and ask themselves this question. After I watch this show, what have I added to myself? What value have I added to myself and to the struggle? If you evaluate it and there is nothing that you've added to the struggle, it has done nothing but plants the seed of hatred, division, and discord among fellow Ambazonians, then you should really tell yourself, this is not the place for me to be. If you really love this struggle, if you really sing this song that we all want to enter Boya, it is true in your heart, and then you should ask yourself these questions and advise yourself.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Your line is still broken. Just at the crucial part when I want to listen, it's still broken. So just to
I don't know.
just to throw a word in what you are saying, in certain areas in the world, they will not even greet people some people will not shake hands with people like that. Someone will come and say that people don't deserve to live. For goodness sake, we are fighting against La République du Cameroon. The least we can do is to debate on issues. When we are confronted by ideas that are contrary to what we hold, we should address them intellectually. We should not resort to insult and dehumanizing other Ambazonians. In a time of war, the only person you should dehumanize, it should be the enemies and the mad dogs who are killing our people. So, ma'am, I want us to move on. Anyway, we'll have to move on. I hope that people have heard you very clearly. And I wanted us to
I
go on
hope so.
and
Maybe
talk
you
about
could find out from the comment section, Capo. Maybe
okay,
you
let
can
me look in
find
the
out from the
comment.
comment section
Yeah.
if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly now. I can hear you clearly now. But just when I want to hear you so badly, when
Okay.
you are flowing, and then you get the glitches. Oh my goodness! But let's
I don't
continue and
know.
let's
Maybe
see.
from your end.
Okay, let's see. I think
Okay.
Lucas have said that people can hear us clearly. They are the ones that matter the most.
Great.
So let's continue, ma'am. I wanted us to
Okay.
talk about something very important for me, which is education. And but I think that a lot of people who have been supporting this struggle financially and have been having a lot of questions with accountability and if their money is actually going where they are putting it. We come from the backdrop where the AGC withdraw from collecting their share their fair share, I would say it is their money from the Washington 50,000, and they refused to collect that money. But we still saw some products of granules being delivered in ground zero, and it's amazing and it's reassuring. I want to ask you, how do you guys manage? I did a little bit of accountability in your company. You don't seems to be pushing very hard on your fundraising issue publicly, but you still manage to produce results for people. How do you guys go about that?
Thank you very much, Capo, on that. You know, the CIC has always said it that this struggle will be fought by a dedicated few. There are so many people, and the noise that we have on social media, people saying that the IG is being supported, they have the highest majority and all these things. I don't want to go into that, but coming back to your question, AGC is made up of people who are so dedicated and zealous for the freedom of our homeland. That is one thing you should know. The belief in the freedom of homeland. The belief that come rain, come shine, we are going to enter Buea. And they are doing so by sacrificing, doing extra hours at work, putting in their very best to make sure that the guys on ground zero, they have materials to execute or to prosecute the war that we are actually in right now. AGC, I am glad that you actually did some accountability with the finance department of the AGC. I am sure you know more than I do right now when it comes to the finances of the AGC, because you took your time to go through the AGC. That is because AGC is structured in a way that every department is kind of like have an autonomy where they control things by themselves. The CIC doesn't even know about the finances of the AGC. Myself and my department, we don't know how the finances of the AGC work. And I'm happy that you did this. And just, you know, we have people out there who trust and believe in the AGC and the ADF. They know the work that the ADF is doing on the ground. They believe that the ADF is the people's army. They know what ADF has done in this struggle and is still doing in this struggle. So they really don't mind sending their money where they know they will get result. So those few people who believe in the freedom of homeland know where to send their money. And when they send their money, they expect to see result. And those things you saw is just one of the many things that the ADF is doing and the AGC is doing. So the members of the AGC, you will be surprised, are the ones funding the ADF. They get support from outside. I can't come here and tell you we don't get support from outside. That will be telling you the biggest lie of the century in this struggle. We do get support from outside, from other Ambazonians. When I mean outside, like Ambazonians who are really not affiliated to the AGC. But the main sponsors of the AGC, ADF are the AGCs themselves, because you will see people work extra hours, make sure that they provide when there is an emergency on the ground. You see everybody running hectare to produce money to make sure that that emergency is catered for on ground zero. That is how the AGC functions. And when we sit and hear people making noise on the social media space saying that AGC is embezzling this and AGC is doing this, when we are the ones actually footing our bees and raising money for our guys on ground zero, it is so painful and at times discouraging. But because we believe in the freedom of Ambazonia, because we know the AGCs, they know by themselves that we are the vanguard of this revolution. Take it or you leave it. That is what it is. We are the ones. We know that the freedom of Ambazonia will come, and we will fight to the last until it comes. So that is how we raise funds within the AGC to food our bees on ground zero and support our guys on ground zero.
You know, there have been a lot of propaganda done for the AGC on various levels, very high level. There are people who actually believe that ADF does not exist, and that if you are giving your money to the ADF, you are giving money to Ayabacho to go and eat the money because he doesn't have any job. And this may sound so stupid to you, but believe me, there are people who actually believe this. I want you to directly address such people who think that if they give their money to the AD, the Changshu boys, they are giving it to Ayabacho to take the money to eat. And Ayabacho is not having any job. His job is exploiting people and collecting their money. And it sounds so ridiculous, my dear ma'am, but don't underestimate what stupidity can mean. People do really believe this, and there is real propaganda behind this machinery to propagate such, and people even go as far as saying a honorable thing, which the AGC have been doing over the years, which is to help the vulnerable people fleeing from political persecution in La République du Cameroon to seek for refuge in abroad. They have assisted them. You would not imagine that even this is a subject of insult to the AGC. What will you say to people who actually really believe these things, irrespective of the facts?
Well, Capo, from what you've said, I've gathered three things, and I'm going to address that. The issue that ADF does not exist, the fact that Ayabacho, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba fits from the AGC, and the fact that they are insulting the AGC, that they are using the struggle to promote themselves and provide political assistance or whatever to the people out there. But let me first of all start with the fact that there is no ADF on ground zero. This is not the first time it's coming up, and it might not be the last time. As a matter of fact, it might not even be the last time. I feel so sorry for people when they come out. The problem is that Ambazonians are so, I don't know, do I say naive, gullible, or what? I really don't know how to describe it. Because when they see something on the social media, they pick it, they run with it, they cannot even spend 2 minutes of their time to research and know if this is true or not. They just run with it, they make noise about it, they can fight each other and kill each other about that thing when they don't even know the genesis of it and they don't even know the reality of it. Now, there are so many people who have come out and say ADF does not exist on ground zero. Remember, our show was supposed to be at 5 p.m. Amber. We shifted it 30 minutes later because the ADF spokesperson was on air with Sufoncha. He asked him one question: does the ADF exist on ground zero? He asked that question because previously we heard Sufoncha, does the ADF exist on ground zero? And he said yes. We have heard people say, even Sako himself had meetings with people to say ADF does not exist on ground zero. And the question you want to ask yourself is, if ADF does not exist on ground zero, who are these people that they go about claiming they have done this, they have done? You will hear the funniest thing is that ADF does not exist on ground zero, but if anything bad happens on ground zero, ADF automatically comes into existence, and ADF is the one that did that bad thing on ground zero. So I honestly don't know how people, ADF, we cannot deny the fact that the genesis of defense, of self-defense in Ambazonian revolution was started by the ADF. We saw the CIC went down to Daji, and people said it was in Nigeria, it was in, and later on they said that things. Later they came to accept that there was actually something on the ground like ADF. Today they come and say there is no ADF on ground zero. When ADF carry out joint operations with ASC, they carry it out with SOCADEF, they will come and say that is good. And the question is, if ADF is not in existence, how come ADF carried out a joint operation with this group and with this group? ADF went and rescued this group from the attack from an incoming from the enemy. ADF is now in existence. How come the same group that they said is not in existence suddenly propped up from nowhere and came and rescued them from the enemy's attack? So it is so unbelievable. I have a situation where a group of people called me from Dubai and they were asking to support the ADF. But later on, some of them came and said there was no ADF. From what they are hearing, there is no ADF on ground zero. And I feel so, and I ask myself, which world are we living in? ADF does not exist on ground zero, but when the freelancer went to ground zero and had interviews with work state in the ADF camp, and worked with our people. They came and were criticizing and saying a lot of things that ADF have brought down La Republique agents in Ground Zero to come and videotape our guys and sell us to France and all these things. That is, ADF is not in Ground Zero. How come ADF brought in a freelancer to come and talk on these things? So it's so disappointing when people say ADF does not exist when it's super.
I don't know if
the likes of Sofoncha came and talked about the non-existence of ADF.
I can
but they are there
not
saying
hear
that
you now.
ADF from Ground Zero.
So, ma'am, I hope you can hear. Okay, showing that connection available. Why should it be showing that way?
I can
so, ma'am, I
you
want to ask you.
From my end.
Yeah. Okay, one thing I want to ask you is about the AGC has a very strong brand, and you find it with AGC people. They are when they release their video, this is always branded already, and it makes it very difficult or sometimes uncomfortable for us activists to share it, because when we put it, it's like you are working for ADC or ADF. I want to raise that issue with you. Why have such a strong brand fighting for the whole nation? Don't you think that the ADF brand is being pushed too much than the national brand? Someone would even say that in the group of ACT, AGC is over too pompous, if I may use that word. What do you say to that, and what would you say to people like me who are complaining about the branding of ADF, that your brand is too strong, you push your brand too much?
Capo, if you don't say Capo Daniel, who will say Capo Daniel? No, that is honestly, like, if you don't say yourself, who will say you? If we don't promote our guys on Ground Zero, if we don't encourage our boys on Ground Zero and tell them we stand with you, who do you expect to come and to promote them? And what do you mean by national branch? What is national branch? Who are you calling national? Okay. ADF, what does ADF stand for? ADF stands for what? Ambazonian Defense Force. It is not AGC Defense Force. It is Ambazonian Defense Force. And when AGF has pledged allegiance not to deliver AGC from La République du Cameroon, but to deliver Ambazonia from Cameroon. That is to chase out Cameroon from Ambazonia. That is why it's called Ambazonian Defense Forces. It's not AGC Defense Force. The AGCs are the people who will brand them their own. If I don't brand AGC or ADF, nobody will. If I don't tell the guys on the ground that we appreciate what you are doing for the liberation of our homeland, nobody will. So you must stand with your own. You have an identity. You are unique, irrespective of the fact that multiple groups come up to fight for the liberation of homeland. It doesn't mean that our identity will be lost. We still have to maintain our identity and fight for the common goal. ADF will remain the ADF because it still stands for the people of Ambazonia, fighting for Ambazonians. So we will always brand our own.
Yeah.
If you don't say Capo Daniel, I will not come and say you Capo. That you should know. I will not come and say you. So you have to say Capo.
Yeah, that is understandable. And to talk about, are you worried that the newly ruled out county to county and local government initiative by the IG is going to create conflict with the ground operation of the ADF and the AGC as a whole? Because we have heard in people of various so the organization called country organization, which I have my own given, but I want to just ask you in regards to conflict. Don't you think that you should engage, or is there any engagement to make sure that when we hear people now using the word incursion, county to county, everybody where you belong, what do you do? What have you done, or what do you think about the potential conflict of these county groups that are being created to try to stop national movement like the AGC or the ADF who wants to operate in an area or a county with people that are not necessarily from that area?
Well, Capo, I am not particularly worried about that, the issue of county by county. Personally, I am not worried, and as a matter of fact, I tell you that the AGC is not worried. You know why? Because AGC, we have always stood for the block by block mechanism. And the block by block mechanism, I don't know what they mean by county by county. Of course, we know what our counties are. But when you come and you start talking about county by county, you ask yourself, how did you even derive county by county? We have a strategy, a mechanism that has been working well for the liberation of our homeland. We have empowered our guys. We have educated our guys on ground zero to be able to rise and defend their various blocks. They have been doing so successfully. And now you want to come in and talk about county by county. What are you saying? You, Capo, I don't know where you grew up. I grew up in many places. So I am asking you, which is my county that you really think I should affiliate myself with? Should I now go out of Mezam or from Bafut or from Kwen and affiliate myself with my Four Limbe or Victoria, or I go to Kumba and go to Boya Road and say that is where I grew up, or I go to Douala at Bonaberry or and tell them that, yeah, that is where I grew up. So where do I affiliate myself? We are not worried about that because this is just something that is coming. This is something that has come and it will pass. Block by block remains the strategy that will liberate Ambazonia, whether they like it or not. You talk about local government by local government. What is local government by local government? We have blocks within those things you call local government by local government. Empower the guys to that county. So you can't come and tell me that you will ignore what has been working for our guys effectively, something that has empowered.
I think we lost connection with the spokeslady. Let me try to invite her. Ma'am, you try to come up again. Okay, your camera does not appear. So we're talking with the spokeslady of AGC, Cecilia Amabo, about the potential of conflict, because we had warned earlier on the potential that if you appoint a governor and you appoint, you set up local government without consultation with the people who are operating in that area, potentially you have conflict because somebody wants to come there and someone will come and tell you, I'm the governor here, and that will be challenging his authority. Or let me see if I can bring chair spokeslady again. Oh, chair lady, oops, what's this? Chair lady, can you type out something if you are available? Your camera has disappeared. So that was a question we were asking from chair lady. We have seen the program has already been ruled. We have seen stickers. Oh yeah, let me see if I can bring chair spokeslady back. Your invitation is still active, so I cannot invite you. Can you try to send request? Oh, I can add you now. Yeah. Then when the spokeslady will come back, we are going to talk to her about, okay, she's been connecting. Yeah. So yeah, ma'am. So
yeah,
moving further from that issue, I want to ask you, do you think it's a fair game for people to judge our leaders and attack our leaders about their vision or their capability to lead us based on their educational qualification? Because we have seen activists like Digimas who have brought out the issue of Sako's qualification of having an online PhD, and people who have questioned other people's qualification, including the CIC. Do you think it's a fair game that our struggle people are questioning people not based on their vision and their liberation. And you look at people like liberators like Muammar Gaddafi and people like Fidel Castro. They were not highly educated individuals. Do you think it's a mistake when people get caught up in that type of analysis and criticize leaders on those bases?
Yes, Capo, I would outrightly say it's a very terrible mistake. It's a very terrible mistake because first of all, you have no right. I don't think you really have a right to go about fighting for people's qualification. I mean, if you have 3 PhDs and 4 PhDs and you have no understanding of the Ambazonian revolution, how is that helpful to Ambazonia? If you have no vision, you have no strategy, you have no roadmap, you have no blueprint for Ambazonia, for the liberation of Ambazonia, how is your PhD or your 20 PhDs or masters useful to Ambazonia, useful for the current Ambazonia right now where we find ourselves? Our people are dying. What Ambazonians need is someone who has a vision, who has a strategy, who has a roadmap, who has the ability to free them from the bondage of La République du Cameroon, and not papers. PhDs are just papers. They are just certificates given to you. But what you carry in there, your resilience, your stamina, and your ability to deliver is what Capo don't long that will bring you freedom for your people. That should be your sole concern. You shouldn't be, when people start questioning people's educational background or certificates or what they possess, I feel so sorry for those people, because you are pointing at somebody with a single finger, but 4 are at the same time pointing at you, and you're unable to even answer those questions. What can PhDs, 4 PhDs, 5 PhDs do to Ambazonia at this critical moment? Our people are dying. Our people need to return back to their homes. Our people need a free home where they can go back, rebuild their homes, and stay at home and know that nobody is going to come there and raise down their communities. What has PhD got to do with that? If somebody has that ability to prepare and present that roadmap, that strategy, that blueprint that will bring us that freedom, that will take our people from the shackles of suffering in the bushes and return them back to their homes, and make them call themselves and celebrate themselves for going back home after long suffering. What is PhD? What is a master's degree or whatever? How can that be of service to us right now? Can PhD bring our people from the refugees, the thousands of refugees we have in Nigeria back home? Can PhDs bring the thousands that we have that are suffering their incarceration right now back home? Don't we have people with tens of PhDs that are being that are locked up in prisons? We have those people, but how can that be of service to Ambazonian revolution right now? Let us focus on the goal. Our goal is Boya. Who can get us to Boya? Who has the vision? Who has the strategy? Who even has the mind? Who has the balls to stand and face La République and tell them, La République, get out of our territory? Who has the guts? That is what you should be concerned about. Who is able to look at La République and tell them, your days are numbered in our territory. We are going to chase you out and chase you to the gates of hell. Who has the guts? That is what we want. We don't want papers. Papers are not going to give us freedom. Papers will not free our mothers who are suffering in the bushes. Papers are not going to stop the raping of our girls and our mothers. That is not going to happen. We should grow up. We should honestly grow up. We have more things on the table, and that is what we should be concerned about. La République is what we should concentrate our energy in fighting out of Ambazonia. Not who has what, who possesses what, who carries what qualification and all that. That is not what matters to me right now. What matters to me is who can hold my hand and say, this is free homeland. Go home and relax. Go home and rest. That is what is important to me.
And by the way, ma'am, Ekema is also a holder of a PhD.
That is it. Thank you Kapo Ekema is also a holder of a PhD. Yes. Even Etofis is a holder of a PhD. I was in SWA when he came and they gave him a doctorate degree in PhD. Those days, I was there in my presence. And did he sit in any classroom? What can he do with it?
And some of those things
what is he doing with it?
Again, by doing recitation and cram work and things like that. So it really cannot give you wisdom and vision. Those things you don't learn. So
that is the truth. Those are inborn abilities, Kako. Being a revolutionary leader, those are inborn abilities. You don't go to school to learn them. People have gone to have studied conflict resolution and they are still unable to provide Ambazonians with a roadmap to Boya. They have no strategy. They can say it, they can talk from morning to evening about this or that, about the Ambazonian struggle, but they have nothing to show to the Ambazonian people, at least one strategy, that when you echo it somewhere, somebody will say, yes, I recognize that strategy. I know where it came from. We have, there is one thing, Sako, one person wrote something on Facebook that for 37 years or 36 years, Paul Biya has been a president. Do we know one of his quotes? Just a quote from the president. At least Obama left the White House after 8 years. We have a lot of quotes by Obama. At least we have been in the struggle. Patterson was in the struggle for how long? We know, you and I, we can always refer to Patterson and said, he said this, he said that. That is somebody who at least has left an indelible mark in this revolution. When you, Capo Daniel, leave tomorrow, what mark you left for the struggle? Those things. Let us not just sit here and talk about papers and all. We should be able to have things, marks that can actually speak for us when we are no more there. Yes.
Let me give you one quote from Paul Biya. I do so swear.
Oh my God! I hope he swears this time around. We are looking forward to seeing him swear again.
For in his passport, his profession is president. You know, in his profession, they put president. He's a professional president. So, moving forward, I want to ask about something Ambazonia is desperate for. We are desperate for recognition. We know that the strategy of pursuing our restoration through smart diplomacy will require real result. I want to know, given that you are now the principal registry of the UNPO who have registered our country, the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, how far is that going in terms of smart diplomacy? How many governments and countries are you currently engaged with that are promising, given that the UNPO is rich, connected with countries they have helped to obtain their own independence? Can you give us some more light on that effort?
Yeah, Capo, it is true that the agency facilitated the readmission of Ambazonia into UNPO. And it is true that UNPO is doing its best to make sure that Ambazonia gets the best recognition as possible. UNPO is, being in UNPO, we have actually had the ability to meet with other countries and discuss the Amazonian case. I will not come here and tell you that we have secured 10 countries that are willing to recognize Ambazonia yet already. But I'm not going to give you that yet, but I can tell you for sure that we are working currently and tirelessly with countries to make sure that they recognize Ambazonia. We are doing that. Not just agency, but the ARC as a whole. The ARC is working tirelessly to make sure that Ambazonian gets recognition. But I will not tell you that we have 5 countries secured or there are 7 countries on the line right now, but I can only tell you that we are working towards that. We just got readmitted into, these are just come rain, come shine.
I'm still getting some glitches. I hope You could hear me. Okay, I hear you now. I heard your conclusion. I hope you can hear me clearly. So, ma'am, I wanted
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
To talk about what I'm campaigning for now very actively about the education of our children. I understand we are parents, and a lot of parents. I'm really worried that in ground zero, this may actually have a real effect on the population, because most of our population, they do live on subsistence farming, and due to the attack in the schools, some of them, most students have moved into La République du Cameroon, and they are being sustained by their families back in the villages. And the workforce in the villages have been affected by the war going on. In the next 1 or 2 years, we are going to start to see the real effect on families being unable to pay for education for their school, for their children. I want to ask about this education, this issue about education. ADF, the AGC used to open up schools in areas that they control, and which was very encouraging. And recently, you signed a joint statement with all the various nationalist movement and the IG to reaffirm the school school boycott. What effect does that policy, or you just signed that thing? What effect do you have on your policy of keeping the schools open in your areas?
Capo, I thought you were one of the main activists who advocated for collaboration between the various frontline movements.
Not stupid collaboration.
I thought you were one main activist who advocated for that.
I can see the pressure.
Anyways,
I can see the pressure. When you are doing the right thing, you are doing the right thing. The AGC was doing the right thing.
Great. Let's go back to your question. That was just an outside. That was just not completely an outside, but you are one of the main person who advocated for the collaboration of all the nationalist movements to come together and work together, and that is what we did. Coming back to schools, Capo, let me say something to you. It is true that AGC, when AGC had control set over some certain areas, and they started education for children. But we still stand for the fact that the insecurity in Ambazonia does not warrant our children to go back to school right now. I am happy that in your opening statement you said education is not all about going to sit in the classroom. You and I know that over 75% of education is gotten at home, not necessarily in the classroom. The morals that you have been instilled with, that you have right now, were not instilled in the classroom, but at home by your parents. AGC had control over some areas and started school, but you and I also know the attacks that the groups, our defense forces have been having on ground zero. The ADF has been having on ground zero. It will not be mature for any leader or for any group to bring children and put where they know their lives are at stake. We cannot say that we want to stop our children from going to receive Republic education and hide from stray bullets, and then we bring the same children, gather them by ourselves, and have them killed by our own people. We cannot do that. And beside that, beside the fact that there is insecurity in Ambazonia and we cannot advocate for school resumption, we want to ask you, when Patasang and the others left their classroom and hit the streets of Ambazonia asking for better educational system, was it because there were no schools for them to attend, or because there was a flaw in the educational system in Southern Cameroon? Have we at this time solved that problem? Has that problem been solved? How can we talk about people going back to school when we have hundreds of thousands of our people? You heard the way Joshua would say was playing with words in the Constitutional Council, thinking he was trying to be smart and all that. You heard Joshua Osei trying to play with words, equating, using our people as numbers and trying to reduce and round up as though it was the ballot papers they were playing around with, forgetting that these are human beings who are currently suffering in the various bushes. He was there calling 750,000. Then, my Lord, I just want to round it down to 500,000 people who are IDPs in Ambazonia. Let us say, forget or say, but you and I, we know that we have more than 750,000 people currently in the various bushes of Ambazonia. What schools do you want us to promote right now when these people are currently in the bushes? When their schools have all been razed down? We have how many thousands of them as refugees in Nigeria? How do you sit back and want your child to go back to school when these other ones are still in Nigeria in the various camps, and they also are supposed to be in school, and yet they can't have the access to go back to school? The only way we can have education in Ambazonia is when we are able to fully regain our territory, rebuild our schools, and introduce our own educational system that will work to implement, because our children, you and I, we are sitting here today. At times, we are even unable to construct a proper sentence in English. That is because we are putting out what they gave to us. What La Republique planted in us is what we are delivering today. So if we want our children to come out stronger tomorrow than we are today, then we should be able to sacrifice and know that every child has a right to acquire this education, but proper education is also a right for every child. Proper education is also a right for every child. So let us fight to liberate Ambazonia and rebuild our schools and rebuild our educational curriculum and provide for our children the best education that the Anglo-Saxon that us Anglo-Saxon people can provide for our children. We cannot be greedy and say that let us send them to school. Has it changed? What has changed? The main reason why teachers came out on the street to protest, has that problem been solved? It has not been solved. So we cannot say, let us send children back to school right now. The leaders signed a resolution, that's true. And they said by 2019, because they foresaw that by 2019, we will be able to control territory, whole territory, and build schools within the territory and provide our children with an educational system, with an Ambazonian curriculum system that will be able to build them. So we should be looking at that, to see how we can make this happen. That should be our concern. Children can be at home and receive education at home. 97% of education is gotten at home, not necessarily in the classroom. When you go to the French university, they are speaking in French. Do you understand a thing? You go home and you do your research. You go home and you study at home. That is when you get educated on that topic.
Yeah. So, ma'am, I think what I'm advocating for, it's not really a resumption of school. It's a resumption of school, but it's advocating for a policy for education, child education, and education in particularly for the most vulnerable, including those who are in the refugee camp. Because I believe that if in the refugee camp, if you look like situation like in the Afghanistan, in the middle of the war, even during the time of the Taliban, where school was actually abolished, there was no school for women there, but they still study at home because they had people who came up with initiative for homeschooling. And even in South Africa, when they were going through apartheid, they also had boycott of school. But Nelson Mandela, within 2 years of the school boycott, came out and said that there is a need for child education. So they have to bring in alternative educational system for home and within the system that adapts to that environment. Don't you think that our leaders, you guys are so focused on school that you don't separate the policy for boycotts to have an alternative program for our children? And you know very well, ma'am, that our people take their cue from the leadership. And with a lack of educational policy for homeschooling, to advise those who are capable of teaching children within the refugee camps to be able to organize classes within those environments, and for children who are running around the street and around the quarter because their schools are closed, to educate their parents that they can homeschool their children like the Americans do homeschool their children, like the South African did in the apartheid or the Afghanistan during the war. Don't you see that disconnection?
Well, Capo, I very much agree with you on that, because Even when we said that the AGC, when the territories, the areas where they were occupying and had school to go on, that was just for children between the ages of 3 to 5, which is very important for our children to be able to know how to count 1 to 10, 1 to 100, ABC, and all those things, to be able to identify things. So we have always had that policy to encourage our people. We have, within the refugee camps, we have able teachers, certified teachers among these people, because when fire comes burning homes, it doesn't distinguish whether you are a community-based teacher or you're a certified teacher. It burns everybody. So all those who are in the bushes, we have qualified teachers in those bushes who can also get up and take it as a responsibility. This thing is a collective something. It should be their responsibility to know that these children at this critical moment, they need to study, they need to learn, and take it upon themselves to organize classes for these children, teach them what is necessary at this point in time, so that our children cannot just sit home and do nothing, or be in the bushes and play around and do nothing. We understand that if they are able to organize church service within the in the bushes, we have teachers who can also organize these classes for children and educate our children. So these are things that are encouraged. We say these things every day. When General Ivo went to the communities, you heard him said, we are looking for volunteer teachers. Please volunteer to be able to teach these children. These children need to learn from wherever they find themselves. And you and I, Capo, we cannot say they are not doing so. They are doing so. You saw there is a little boy that we put his picture all over Facebook, a little boy of like how many? He sings the Ambazonia national anthem more than you and I do. That is because these children have been taught. He didn't just get up and learn it from nowhere. No, it's because somebody took it upon themselves to teach these children. So they are actually being taught. But we are also encouraging leaders to make sure that to come out and motivate and encourage our people that when you have the opportunity, wherever, when you find the environment secure, safe, make sure you utilize it. Don't allow our children go astray. Guide them, teach them the basic skills, teach them the basic educational skills that they need. So I think I support the idea of leaders actually encouraging this, which they have been doing. I know from the agency perspective angle that Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba has been doing this. And that is why you will see General Ivor hold a community deba or a community sensitization exercise, and will talk to parents and will call on traditional leaders or call on quarter heads to be able to provide children, community volunteers, teachers to be able to teach our children. So I encourage this as a matter of fact, because our children need to study wherever they find themselves.
Yeah, I give credit to the AGC for that, as well as General Ivo. I also want to give credit for the SCBC, because they also have notified me that they have a program of education on their TV channel. But these days, how many people do watch TV channel? But I give them credit for that. And I also want you to use your influence and as a leader within the nationalist movement to encourage the diaspora to send, amongst items sent back to Ground Zero should include materials for learning, in particularly for children who are 3 years old, for ABC and those basic educations. They are very important. And if it is possible, I'm going to talk to Dr. Liz to find out what they had prepared previously, to see how we can help our people, and also to highlight this debate is catching fire on a WhatsApp group. People are talking about the need to educate kids. There are just a lot of children having pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy is an issue as well, that even in the middle of a war, we should not be shy to still address this issue that are minimal. We don't know how we can save the nation. So once more, ma'am, I want to say more talk for the language which I love the most. For Pidgin English, you know, I pride.
No worry about that.
Yes, I take pride to talk. Say I've been a Bamenda boy. I talk na Pidgin English. That is my language I speak, and that is the language I want talk. So I want me to talk for our people then back home. Which message you get them? Would I see that body the way that I'm one for not be only for bush, for some place the way you see that video where they show am for DW, that German channel, you see that body they don't live on for road, they stay 3 days. All these things what people that they watch them, it be traumatizing that they go through this war. And sometimes the propaganda from La Republic where they do enough for radio. Now say they tell people and I say we're tired. That you use all kind of propaganda. I want me to give them hope. Say even though they be intimidated with all this brutality from La Republic, their mad dog army them. Now which kind of thing if you tell them for me make them understand the price where they pay them for waiting where they wait them for they was struggle. Now wait you go tell them, madam.
Capo. Well, honestly speaking, I want to talk say I give thumbs up. You know, I really salute our parents and where they did for ground zero, because wait where they see with their eyes. I mean, it be something where if you give anybody nightmares for night, you know. So for our mommy them, for our papa them, not them where they don't sacrifice to say na my pikin this, go fight for your nation. I want to tell you that, mommy, where you leave that pikin, where you carry them for your womb for 9 months, where you take time for nurture and grow them up to a level where if you even hold a then gone. So till you get that courage for to say, go stand and defend your country. I want to tell you that, mommy, say, that sacrifice where you make them because you believe, say, your pikin don't over suffer, or say even you that suffer and you for all this why one don't suffer, you feel saying at the time this way the picking and fight for make sure say they bring freedom not only for you the mommy but for that picking them and for their own unborn picking them. I want to say thank you very much. That same spirit where you push them forward for send that picking, I want to say me remain strong in that same spirit, because you be believe in something before you even leave your picking, say me go pick then gun, fight against an AK, fight against a machine gun, fight against an airship and all those things. If you believe that prayer, that your knees then where you don't go down, pray before you send that picking. I still beg you, mommy, papa, say continue for go down on your knees and pray for our boys, because they could definitely bring that freedom where all we would long forget them. No feel discouraged because of the noise where they make them on social media. No allow the noise on social media and the infighting for discourage you. No, the boys them for ground zero don't realize themselves say they need one another for be able for make sure say they liberate homeland. And that spirit where it don't enter for among our boys and for say I want be my brother a keeper. Me it be the same spirit among our parents and say the picking the world don't send and say me then go fight. We get for stand with them from morning to evening on our knees, for day down on our knees, for pray for our picking them. May God protect them, because if not be their prayers, if not be their support, if not be the love for the picking them, if not be the job that they provide them for the picking them, the encouragement, all the picking them by now for don't die. We know say it be painful as they continue for bury picking them every day. It brings tears in everybody's eyes. All me the we would there for year would cry the same way our parents they cry for ground zero. So we just want to encourage them, say, me them stand strong. Me them continue for support the boys them. Me them continue for advise them, because no matter how picking grow, when it come for a mommy prawn, you will always be a child. Whether General Ivor, he get another general title add on top. When he get for a mommy presence, when he hear a mommy voice, he always listen. So when you get that opportunity for talk for any of the picking them, I like culture because your picking no must be not the one way come from your belly directly. Any picking na your picking. Once you don't be a mommy or picking na your picking. When you get that opportunity to talk to them, tell them why they are fighting. Me then know say then get now one enemy. Tell them me they know say now one enemy then get them. When they start pick gun, they look, they push, they point them towards one another, they are losing the lost focus. Me then return that gun to the enemy, because now only when they return that gun to the enemy and come together like brothers and sisters, and then that fight where the first of us start to fight, they go bring them to an end faster. So now wait till that we really talk for our parents and for really encourage them. Say thank them for even sacrificing their children. Thank them for the prayers where they pray for our picking, and thank them for the economy don't come to a standstill. Nothing they happen, but they still be able to provide the soldiers and with food, with little things and all those. This one are sacrifices and we will not ever undermine them. And we give all the thanks to our parents for standing behind our boys and fighting with them. Mila Republic not deceive them. They will never give them what these people can give to them. Kapua broken or half.
Yeah, I don't know why you hear me. Yeah, I want to add my mop for way folks woman don't talk. For talk say for ground zero, me them no say that will be see how they bid were picking them for Boya University, bid lawyer than so, where they never do anything. It touch our heart today will cry. Some of we will cry, will say, where that means say the French people they send their boy, then they're picking them in and don't kind of treat with the bad way. Move my motor, put them for it run for inside poto. Jole had to be done, they do the kale for long time. It make us all cry. See, that means say we will not get man picking with the even who gone to defend we. So they don't start them. What the killing where the key? I remember the mommy called me right from come. The mommy called me. I want to talk say you don't know what you where they talk where they go through for here. You never see the dead body the see them. Their body they for Roman no go move on for day. I don't want to talk say you know if you understand when I dey for that side. So I want to tell them say, mommy, all that graphic image where you see and so. Now say they be doing for Bamileke people them. They make a sute, they can key NS1G but for some day in front picking them in front woman for market so the Babyleke people then she don't since that day to today Babyleke people that don't be na work people na boy for Bulu and Beti tribe them. We for Southern Cameroon, this way they do and I say the one same who talk say we don't live the Palava Ambazonia. And if we live and so, the very suffer will suffer in the future we're picking the go can suffer the very suffer. For make sure say me the thing would go through so me not ever happen for another generation. We must make the price for America, for England, even for France. Before the one become the white man country, became the nice high, they so all man the one go for they be done also take some time for pay this price for liberate themselves from monarchy. So now the time for we for sow seed, for plant seed where the next generation will live good. Some people we must take the price. Yeah. We na for ground zero and we will do for abroad now one. Jole how we always send money for Helebuna. Now when we were family them, we will also come back for down day. Now say some of we would not put face for us, I will not come back for day, but when I know say the many majority for Ambazonia people they send money, not be even we will be activists. Me I feel if you are saying now $100 for 1 month, but the majority of people they send money, we not even see them. So we for our side will feel una pain because we will be family, will be in one country. Una tears now tears. We they cry the same with una. Once we una stand together, we make sure say me the freedom for Ambazonia me come. Me man no fee say they go intimidate we make we sute mo see their body sute we talk say one level so. One level so because we feel say we no go win. Amuna no say slave people they no be get any hope say that we win. The time for colonization they no be get any hope say that we win. But now because they be sure for one man say they don't deny say they no go ever live like a subclass, a second class people them. Then the white man decides say, for me for continue to hold them, I will lose some part of me because I will commit crime against humanity. This crime it affect them too. How did the Kiwi so they are picking they go back to their country, they craze, they abuse their woman them, they get trauma. So if we only hold grass, we'll stand say we'll make the resistance so they one day thing they will change. The like they for before. This struggle will win. United Nations, plenty places they don't begin to talk, they see where they go on. Who no say one man, they need to see them. They see them. Victory there for before. That's what I want to talk. I will give last talk for chair, for spokesperson, for spokeswoman for AGC. Me give last talk for now. Then we'll go closer.
Oh, okay, Capo. I still give the last talk now pidgin on our English.
For pidgin.
Okay. Okay. I just still want for encourage our ground fighters. Honestly speaking, what Snofi ever equates with where we actually hold and for our heart towards them because they don't give up everything. Their studies, their families, their lives, their businesses. everything about their lives, they don't put them aside. They say we have a focus. They just say we want to fight for a free homeland. I like one thing where General Ivor talk. He talk say if it means say he go die for fight for make sure say the next generation get a place to call a free homeland, then he be ready for put the life on the line just for make sure say the next generation get a place to call a homeland. If somebody if he come out like that, if somebody if he get that so much love, passion, that's what they talk about for English, say patriotism. If somebody if he gets such for a heart for fight for a country where it belongs to you and I, Capo, why I no go give that person a standing ovation? Why I no go give that person everything where a piece that person need for make sure say that word where it come out declare and so it go come to fulfillment. The boys they know they ask you for anything. They never thought say leave your homes and come down. They tell you now say give we wait where we want them. Give we wait where we need and we go be able to deliver for now wait one on one. I just want to thank all our foot soldiers and for wait where they do. The little misunderstanding where be there amongst them, I still want to say a big thank you for them where they take that initiative for say we need each other back for this ground zero. We're there for ground zero. If we leave diaspora and them for influence we, you go see my enemy they come for kill me, you go deny for tell me say that person they come for can't kill me because say you be influenced by the diaspora. But they know say they need each other back for ground zero. And they take that initiative by themselves for resolve whatever way they be there among them. And we just want to say big thank you for them for what way they don't do. And for the love heroes the way they don't fall, we will always hold you in our hearts. We will always remember you, and we'll go raise monuments in our honor. It be so painful and heartbreaking each time when one woke up for morning time we see our own people they line up where they don't should destroy their lives. I mean, it like human life no longer mean anything. We take all these things into consideration. So we just want to tell our ground force to say, please stay as one, continue to stand as one, fight and be your brother's keeper. And for we will there for diaspora, we have one mission: provide them with what they need. Make sure say you get even an extra job for make sure say that boys them for ground zero they get where they need. Most of them they even die in Batana because when they go out their granules to finish and they not be able for continue for fight. So provide them with where they need and we will all be happy. Well,
It did like say that line the cocotte. It did like the internet line the cocotte for Madame Amabo's side for the because I need to see you again. So
yeah, sorry, Capo, I will get a call. A call come in.
Okay. So
sorry, a call come in.
Okay, ma'am. So one thank you so much, Madam Amabo Cecilia, where you don't take your time for can shoot on we. And one time all man we don't take time for can join we for this hear this story or the talk. And one encourage when I say una own a day for ground zero, or own a give family people for ground zero. Mona begin remind them for the need for education, for educate their people, and also for support the boy them. We will try to do our best to support them, and we will support in particularly Changshu boy them where we don't get there. Madam, we can talk for it today, and the other group them as well we did for your heart. But for those people that they say Changshu boy, they know they exist. I talk say if you never ever support them, just try them. If not just like money, if you take and buy a one bottle to me, but for outside day, just try for them, see how it go day. Especially the we go and see what own eye had and deliver goods for them. No be small goods that way they be deliver for them. A strong thing. Where you go sing song for inside day. So before that people they want enter our village and for begin key people them born house them, they go think twice. So I take God I beg when I say I try for make sure when I support the people them. I don't talk some of their wounded soldier them. Easy. When I see that one way they beat them, where they torture them for Batibo, they need help. So Madam Amabo, thank you so much for coming join me for this No Connie Talk show. We'll be happy so you never make any.
Thank you so much, Capo.
Inside our Connie meta, we will never dictate any small Connie for day. But now only for that palaver for education way you go may make small Connie day so. But we hope say you go use your influence inside AGC. Push for palaver for education for picking them, in particularly those picking the way they for 3 to 5 years, because at the time for them to learn ABC and 1, 2, 3. And one for remind people, anytime you call back for ground zero, if man will get picking, it talk for you. No picking checks they know anything. Ask and say, picking if sing ABC, ya picking if count 1, 2, 3. If you know if you do it go affect that picking in life. Tomorrow that picking no go fit defend Ambazonia very well. You know go fit know our history. So we will take this thing for picking push and forward. As we encourage Amber boy, them will not forget for also encourage a small one where they grow up, so that they go fit stand tomorrow, fit talk fine for defend Ambazonia. Thank you, ma'am. We don't come for the end for the show. God bless you now. Short live
Thank
trouble,
you so much,
and
Capo.
long live our freedom. Thank you, ma'am.